Relying on Medicare? You may want to think again, my friends. I'm telling you, this is I hear people all the time, Social Security won't be there. I'm like, man, compared to Medicare, Social Security is like Fort Knox. All right, so we got a couple articles to look at real quick, and this is from Reason Magazine or Reason.com, their online magazine. Medicare's fiscal ruin. Are Medicare's fiscal problems even worse than the headline numbers suggest? By Peter Suderman, who I used to follow. Matt Welch, I think, Nick Gillespie, and they had some lady on their podcast. And after the beginning of the Corona panic, Nick was pretty firm against it. The lady was too. The Matt Welch, not Matt Walsh. I like Matt Walsh. Matt Welch and Peter Suderman were just scared, so scared. I said, man, and I said, this is the problem with libertarians. A lot of them say they like anarchy-ish stuff until it's risky for them. And they're like, oh no, government save me. It's crazy how scared this guy was. It was nuts. I'm like, dude, you're a young guy. You're healthy. What are you so afraid of? Anyway, but he survived. Imagine that. The most recent annual report on the fiscal health of Medicare from the program's trustees wasn't much of a surprise. It's just another warning in the long-term ruin of it, though. Like the 2020 edition, 2021 trustees report estimated that Medicare's hospital insurance trust, that would be Part A, my friends, Part A. That's what you're paying for now under your OASDIHI. OA, old age, survivor, disability insurance, that's the Social Security side, and then HI is a hospital insurance. So 7.65% of your payroll tax is at 2.45 is going to HI. That's free once you get into Medicare, but right now you're paying for it. But anyway, so the HI, Part A, it'll be insolvent by 2026. At that point, the fund will have to rely on incoming revenues, cash flow, but there is enough cash to pay for it. By 2026, HI will be able to cover only 91% of the bills, and then the gap will get larger. Without changes to the program's financing, and this is the critical part right here, doctors, hospitals, and other medical providers will face rapidly reduced payments from the program. If you don't change the financing, you're going to have rapidly reduced payments from the program for the providers. All right, let's keep going. The report also provided reason to suspect that Medicare's fiscal problems may even be worse than the headline numbers suggest. The fiscal forecast assumes that an array of cost reduction measures, including a series of caps on Medicare physician payments and bonuses, will persist. But the trustees noted that Medicare's long-term costs could be substantially higher than shown throughout much of the report if the cost reduction measures prove problematic. All right. On top of that, the Democrats want to expand Medicare from broadening eligibility to pushing Medicare for all. In some ways, the stage for Medicare expansion was set by Republicans because Mitt Romney was criticizing Obamacare for cutting Medicare. All right, so not only are they wanting to not only is Medicare broke now, but they're going to add to it. And we know this is happening. The Republicans are 10 years behind the Democrats. If you look at everything Republicans do, they're basically the Democrats from 10 years ago. And so it's going to be expanded. The problem is there's no money to be expanded. But did you notice what they say in here? This is just part one. Without changes, the program's financing, doctors, hospitals, and other medical providers will rapidly face reduced payments. And we got to keep the physician, let's see, they're going to include, some of the forecast measures include a series of caps on Medicare physician payments and bonuses and reimbursements as well, I will add. All right, so basically what's happening here. Medicare is running out of money. The providers, the doctors and whatnot who take Medicare clients are saying, if you continue to reimburse me less and less and get rid of my bonuses and stuff, I'm not going to take Medicare clients, patients. It only makes sense. Are you familiar with all of TRICARE and Medicaid? Yeah, get away from a military base. TRICARE isn't well received. It's not. I mean, some docs will take it, but it's just not that well received. Medicare, basically any doc who practices essentially takes Medicare clients because they get paid well. If those reimbursement rates start dropping, how many freaking doctors provide? Again, doctors are providers are going to drop Medicare. Now, some will probably continue to take it, like kind of like Medicaid. Yeah, I got a couple openings, come on in, but you're going to have to wait 3 months. You see what I'm saying? That'll probably happen, but it won't be like, hey, any doc right now accepts Medicare clients because it's such a big cash cow for them. The problem is the doctors too. I mean, you think about it. I mean, they're running a cattle car. It's like shipping cows in a car. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Shoops, come in, shoops. 15 minutes, shoops, you're done. 15 minutes done, 15 minutes done. And they get paid per head, obviously. It's crazy. All right, so then on top of that, they're going to say, we're going to reduce the reimbursements. How many doctors are then going to want to say, yeah, I'll accept Medicare? No, not that many. And we know what's happening right now in Colorado and in Maine. Anthem is what's the word I'm looking for? Late, to say the least, on their payments to providers. I think Anthem covers 25% of insured in Maine. So if you're in Maine and you got Anthem and you go into a doc and they haven't been paid from Anthem for 9 months, you're like, I'm not going to take any more Anthem clients. I haven't got paid from these people. I got my own accounts receivables. I got my own staff to pay. I can't work for free and just waiting for Anthem to fix out how they're going to pay. Will Anthem get that fixed? I don't know. I presume they would. But at the end of the day, the provider's like, I can't afford to wait here for you to pay me. It's no different than the city of Chicago. Their ARs are way past 90 days late. So if you're a small business provider and you're providing services to the city of Chicago and you're like, man, I haven't been paid for 8 months. I'm not going to come back down here until you clear up with me. Same thing's happened with Medicare. But that's not it. It's going to get worse. So check this out. My man sent this to me. Medicare due to go broke in 2026, and they propose a bonus for anti-racism plans. All right, so check this out. Medicare is due to become insolvent in 2026, we just talked about. By 2050, Medicare will constitute 25% of federal spending, crucially driving the share of interest owed on the national debt to triple between the years 2031 and 2051. Just as a side note, why do you think they're not going to raise interest rates? They're not going to allow interest rates to go up because they can't afford the interest on the debt. And right now, again, we got a 30-year treasury. I was trading at 1.86. So, I mean, if you think about it, the amount of debt that the federal government has accumulated, there's no way they can afford to see interest rates go up simply because they can't afford to make the interest payments. So they're going to keep rates low. That's right there is why rates aren't going up anytime soon, if at all. But the Biden Sniffy Joe seems focused elsewhere. Buried in the Department of Health and Human Services fiscal planning for 2022 is a proposal to establish bonuses for physicians who create and implement an anti-racism plan. The plan should include a clinic-wide review of existing tools and policies, such as value statements or clinical practice guidelines, to ensure they are aligned with a commitment to anti-racism. All right, so the CDC, under the Biden presidency, has already diverted time and attention away from the pandemic to create its own Orwellian preferred terms for select population groups and communities. So it's little surprise that the Great Wokening has continued for Medicare. Health expert Chris Pope of the Manhattan Institute notes that Congress already authorized the HHS to make changes in the name of health equity with a 2015 bill. And Pope predicts that the practices will likely be a weak incentive for physicians. Nonetheless, it's a rather right now it was weak incentive. Just wait, man. Racial disparities of outcome are a very real tragedy across all categories of healthcare. Our maternal mortality rate is one of the highest among the developed nations, in no small part due to the fact that black mothers are 3 times more likely than their white mothers to die of pregnancy-related causes. More than 4 in 10 black adults suffer from obesity compared to 3 in 10 white ones, resulting in greater risk from COVID. These are preventable crises. We could ameliorate them by enhancing our suboptimal methods of screening for preeclampsia, for instance, which is the leading cause of black maternal deaths, and shifting the nutritional standards of SNAP to those of WIC, women, infants, and children, which has proven successful at reducing obesity rates. But these aren't the solutions that HHS is pointing to for Medicare. Instead, the CMS, Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, frameworks to create an anti-racism plan. Looks like it only promotes some silly jargon like implementing a language access plan. And this goes back, I was reading some CDC reports a few weeks ago about the numbers of the jabba doo, and it had nothing to do with the success of the jab, just had to do with how many people are taking it. It's weird, man. It's like they wanted to say, hey, 80% of this population took it. Great, pat you on the back. 60% of that population took it. Oh, not good. And that was it. They didn't care about the success. They didn't care about it was weird, man. I was sitting there thinking, the end result for the CDC is the number of people taking the jab. That's it. Nothing else matters. It's crazy. And I went to when I go see my PCP, my primary care physician last time, and I'm not going back. She was like, all right, we got, you got to take the shingles vax, the shingles jabba, the COVID jabba, and the flu jab. I said, hells to the no, lady. I'm not taking all three of those things. I'm not taking any of them, but I'm not taking all three. Have you any idea how these things work in conjunction? Do you have any clue how these things combine to affect the body? You have none. No one's ever done a study on it. Like no one's ever done a study on the various things that the children got to take. The CDC recommended, 22 doses now. No one ever does a study. People tell me they have. I say, show me the evidence, and they don't. They don't. They show me what's a Distanfo stuff, and that thing has been so nuked. It's actually silly that they come up with that. Anyway, there's never been a study that says how these things work in conjunction. But the facts are obviously CMS is paying doctors to push this crap. I mean, how else could it possibly be? They're pushing this crap. How many people got the jabba? All right, here's a reward. No other way around that. Anyway, so now we're going to have more and more CMS crap coming down the pike. And they're going to be doctors say, I'm not being part of this I'm not going to sell my freaking soul for Robin DiAngelo. And so they'll probably CMS will probably buy 1 million books of Robin DiAngelo and Abraham Kendi and say, hand out these books and we'll give you a $30 bonus. And they'll say, okay. It's crazy. This is a problem with single payer, by the way. Anytime you got single payer, you got rationing for favored groups. Without question, this is coming down the pike. So you can see where that's going. Long story short, Medicare doesn't have the money as it is today. It's already going bankrupt. They're adding stupid stuff to the Medicare budget. Right? There's no money for that. Fewer and fewer doctors are going to sit there and say, I want to be a woke crusader. I want to do that. They're going to say, no, I'm going to the private market. I'm going to the concierge market. That's the only way it's going to work. Now, there will always be some taking Medicare. I hate to say always, most likely. But at the end of the day, if you are solely relying on Medicare, I would suggest you think again. The number one thing you can do, of course, is go for a walk. So I'm getting ready to play some basketball with one of my boys. What kind of activity have you done today? Put in the show notes. What have you done? Let's see what you got. Put in the comments. What have you done today? What have you gone outside at all? Did any kind of walking, running, working out, playing basketball? What have you done? Because that's the best way to deal with your health insurance costs. I will see you.